Right. So what is continuous integration? So it is a process of automating the build and testing the code every time when team member commits a changes to version control. Here in the our sense version control nothing but Git. We have done this partially. So I told you that automatically build will trigger, right? When somebody commit changes, I shown you that there is a way in Jenkins, though we have not seen it practically now. We will see it later. But there is a way that automatically that plugin can be hooked with GitHub so that when somebody pushes a new code to this repository, automatically Jenkins job will trigger. So this Jenkins job will build your code. That's what we did. We have already built our code, right? Where is that step? Yeah. So that builds, test, install. And not only building, we are also testing our code every time when team member commits changes. Yes, we are testing it and also building the complete code with war file. So if you see the logs of this Jenkins, the build which we have run recently in console output. So first of all, the first thing what it does is test the new build pushed by the developer. After that, we have built that var file, packaging the entire project, and we have successfully built that project. And that's what we say continuous integration. So that means now you should apply the hooks, and so that tomorrow, no matter how many people will push their code, you should develop something like this CI pipeline where it should continuously test and test it. That's what CI. But whereas continuous delivery is that it is the process where we build, we test and deploy it to a production environment or any staging environment. Okay, staging environment is nothing but your local system environments where you deploy, you again test thoroughly, and finally you release to production environment. Okay, that is the delivery. So here we did partial delivery also. Okay, in our Jenkins project, we just not only tested and built, we have also written some code to deploy it as well. Right? So this one is deploying into Tomcat server. In our case, this server is in our local machine only. But from next sections, we will build some robust system, robust process that Jenkins will be in one Linux machine, deployment will happen in another Linux machine. So our Jenkins should connect to the prod Linux machine and deploy your code from their machine, from Jenkins machine to the another machine. So we have to form connection between multiple systems. That's where we build in upcoming sections. But now, just for understanding purpose, here in our case, this deployment is also our local server only. Jenkins is also running in our local server only. So the definition is clear, right? Build, test and deploy. That's what we call continuous delivery, right? Now let's see this classic diagram which explains same. So I just don't assume that this is how the AWS or DevOps works. Whatever I shown you is for your understanding purpose, but in real time, Tomcat server will be in one Linux machine, and this Jenkins will be in another machine. And there is some other concepts like Docker also we need to build, Docker, containers, and there is deployment tools called Ansible, and you can also use Kubernetes, and a lot of things we have to see. Okay, it's just not the simple, but for understanding I think you got some clear idea. But this is also one process only. If you think that everything you should do in your local, this is perfect process. Okay, there is nothing wrong in this process, but in real time it will not be this much easy way. Little tricky and little complicated will be involved, but ultimate backend logic and idea is same. That's what we have seen in this section, which will help us to expand more in our upcoming sections. You see that somebody developer pushed code into GitHub. Source control is GitHub. So whenever there is a commit, so automatically with the hooks whatever available, Jenkins will build and run unit test. Okay, so this is our Jenkins job. This is a GitHub. Whenever developer pushes code, this job will trigger, and the job will build and run test, which we have seen. So until here we say as continuous integration. This block is called continuous integration. So we also did one step ahead in our Jenkins job. After building, we deployed it into our test environment. which in our case is our local Tomcat server, right? We did that also. Okay. So after you deploy it in your local, if it is working, then you can deploy into production. So for now I deployed into my local system. Up to here we did. So you can simply add one more server and then you can deploy it there after running some unit test cases. So this whole process is called continuous delivery to your production, and this subsection process building is called continuous integration. So with the last lecture of Jenkins job, we were able to do integration as well as continuous delivery to our local environment but not production environment. Alright, that's about this. Okay, so keeping these all concepts in mind, from the next section we will just get into entire new world of different operating system, and we will get all our Linux missions on a fly using AWS EC2 instances, and then I will show how to create your AWS machines, and real game starts from our next section. But the topics what you have learned in this section will really help you to correlate when I talk about all these again in different missions. Okay, so this base is very important for you to get some confidence on how to float in this DevOps ocean. Alright, we'll start this from our next section with creating our AWS account to have our Linux servers installed. So I hope with this introduction we got some fair knowledge, and we will bring this to the next level in our upcoming lectures. Thank you guys.